Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This excerpt from the First Amendment of the Constitution is of tantamount importance to the development of the nation. This powerful amendment in its meaning has been the topic of debate since before its ratification. For this discussion, I will focus on the religion portions of the amendment, which are referred to as the Establishment and Free Exercise Clauses. Why would openly Christian men, as many of the Founding Fathers were, want a government free from religion, even Christianity? During the period leading up to ratification, there was much persecution within the nation, not necessarily by religion, but by denomination. Two of the greatest advocates of the Establishment Clause were Virginians James Madison and Thomas Jefferson. They witnessed the persecution and disenfranchisement of Baptists in their state. This showed them the evils of a religion dominating government leadership, and they saw how government corrupted religion to suit political purposes. Madison said, "Religion and government will both exist in greater purity the less they are mixed together." The intent of Madison and Jefferson seems to be that the only aid a government should give religion is to protect its existence and the right of its worshippers to practice it. A government with official religion will rule according to that religion, which would disenfranchise those with dissimilar beliefs. The First Amendment to the Constitution has a basis in Jefferson's Virginia Statute of Religious Freedoms, a state bill that would experience much of the same turmoil as the First Amendment. The amendment seems logical and clear, but the arguments and contradictions were immediate. First of all, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution were known as the Bill of Rights that all citizens should have. The first issue, however, is this was a federal Bill of Rights that until the 14th Amendment 77 years later did not overrule state laws regarding religion. For example, Massachusetts, among other states, has had an established state religion which discriminated for more than 40 years after the amendment. The Exercise Clause is the least contested of the two. The Supreme Court ruled in 1878, Reynolds versus the United States, that freedom of religion means freedom to hold an opinion or belief, but not to take action in violation of social duties or subversive to good order. For a simple example, one may believe what you will, but you may not commit human sacrifice. There were other cases related to the Exercise Clause, but none argued against the fundamental right to practice religion that did not negatively impact others. The Establishment Clause is quite different. The obvious contradictions are clear. The amendment states no established state government, but civil servants often swear in on the Bible, and the nation's motto is "In God We Trust." The one side of the dispute is called separationists. They used Jefferson's word as president in 1802, where he said, "A wall of separation between church and state." They declared that there should be a strict wall between the two. The accommodationists make up the other camp. They believe the amendment only meant to prevent the establishment of a state religion or church, and they believe in the acknowledgement of the existence of God, and according to political scientist Robert Devine, developing policies that encourage general religious beliefs that do not favor a particular sect and are consistent with secular government goals. The two sides would face off many times. In Everson versus Board of Education regarding state support of religion, the Supreme Court issued a landmark decision which added greater definition to the amendment and a new role for the federal government. Previously, the Supreme Court looked at the amendment to keep the federal government out of religion at the federal level. With the Everson case, they set a precedent that the federal government was now responsible for enforcing the amendment at the state level. The court, though torn on some issues, was agreed in the total separation of church and state, which opened up for future litigation that would more strictly regulate the amendment. The argument about this amendment still rages today, to the point that opponents of various decisions argue that the Supreme Court, as unelected officials, should not be making judgments regarding the Constitution. Both arguments are passionate, and both sides make excellent points. Founding fathers like Jefferson believed in the strict separation of church and state, while others like George Washington believed the opposite. If one takes the amendment literally, then you side on the side of Jefferson. If you take it more loosely, the Constitution is more of a living document meant to be interpreted. Unfortunately, the Founding Fathers did not have the foresight to offer greater interpretation to clear up any issues. Regardless, one thing is clear. Government separation of religion and the right to practice is one of the fundamental rights that make America what it is. Fortunately, like Jefferson and Madison, the woes with state religion were recognized. United States citizens are fortunate to live free from interference. All other issues with interpretation are secondary. Thank you.